Mike.
All right, thank you very much, Janice. It's time to talk about your money, and we continue to try to help couples with their money issues. Joining us this morning, Stewart Welch from the Welch Group, and we've been talking about debt, how that's a huge roadblock for a lot of couples, especially if you're trying to get out of the gate and be successful in your financial goals. But, you know, the part of that is trying to keep up with the Joneses. You know, some of them are seeing their friends, they're buying this, they're buying that, and they feel like, well, golly, we got to keep that just so we can be happy. That's not what's going to make them happy.
So keeping up with the Joneses is a phrase everybody's heard.
Right.
It's a phrase because it's what really happens. People
Yeah.
look and say their neighbor's got a new sports car. I should be able to have a new sports car.
Right.
And the problem, Mike, is that a lot of those people, when you dig behind the scenes, and I get to dig behind the scenes a lot of times,
Right.
what you find is that they're up to their neck in debt.
Yeah.
And so they're taking all of their income and they're borrowing money to be the Joneses, and you don't want to do that. So I think one of the solutions is to create this attitude of contentment. Be content with where you are, and when you see something that you say, I got to have that, put it in one of two categories. Is it a need, something I really need to have, or is it just something that I want to have? Okay. And if it falls in the want to have category, let's just postpone it for 1 week. It's what I call the cooling off period. And if 1 week from now you still dying to have it, then maybe we figure out a way to get it done.
All right, so you're watching your neighbors too, and so if you're trying to keep up with your neighbors, it'll mess up your long-term goals. So it's not a big deal to want things. It's just that they can't be everything, right?
Well, and I think the Joneses are living on a month-to-month. They're living on monthly payments.
You just don't know that, right?
You just don't. You can't. They're not going to tell you that. And so there's this what I call monthly payment mentality. You go into the car dealer, and the car dealer is going to ask, how much can you afford monthly?
Oh, don't answer that question.
Or you're going to ask, how much are my monthly payments? And you've got to get away from that mentality. And so I think you realize that you're going to have to make all those payments. So let's not do it on a payment schedule. In other words, if you have a car and you want a new car, keep the car you have until it's paid off, and then continue to make monthly payments until you've into your own investment account, until you have enough money to pay for cash on the new car.
All right, so now we see this a lot. People say, well, I got this new place, I want nice new furniture in it. That's a lot of money buying furniture. So
it is a lot of money.
So there's a tip for that, right?
Yeah, well, it is a lot of money, and what people will do is they'll go in there and they'll finance it, and that financing cost can be very, very expensive. I think, again, what you want to do is say, I'm gonna wait. I remember a friend of mine, this guy was a doctor, and I went into his, doctor, he's making all this money. He was a young doctor. I went into his house, and it was like empty. And I said, well, where's all the furniture? He says, I'm waiting until I have cash to pay for it. And he just had that delayed gratification.
The more important thing is to prepare for major events, because that's where it can really hurt you financially.
They are. I think people sometimes say, well, nothing's going to happen. The house isn't going to need repair. I'm never going to need a new car. Don't have a child's wedding in the future. I don't have to pay for child's education. All of those are these big ticket events, and a real simple solution is starting out what I call auto saving, 2 to 3% of your paycheck. Have it automatically go into your savings account, and just keep building up assets until you have 3 to 6 months worth of savings in the bank.
All right, sound wisdom from Stewart Welch from the Welch Group. Appreciate it. Thanks so
Mike.
much. It is 7:40.